Janet Jackson's journey at 59 is often looked at through a dramatic lens by the public, but the real story is far more layered, shaped by decades of extraordinary success, personal reinvention, and the emotional weight of living life under constant global attention. And while headlines sometimes frame her life in terms of tragedy, the fuller picture reveals a woman who grew up inside one of the most famous families in entertainment history and had to carve out her own identity while the world watched every move she made, from her early years in television acting where she was still finding her voice to her explosive transformation into a music icon in the 1980s. She steadily built a career that would redefine pop and R&B for generations, especially with albums like Control and Rhythm Nation, which not only dominated charts but also carried strong messages about independence, social awareness, and emotional strength. Yet even as her artistry reached new heights, the pressure surrounding her personal life also intensified, creating a constant tension between public image and private reality that few artists ever experience on such a scale. And this tension became one of the defining themes of her life as she navigated fame, expectations, and scrutiny that often overshadowed her achievements, while still continuing to produce music, perform on global stages, and influence countless younger artists who saw her as a blueprint for performance, choreography, and reinvention. But behind the success there were also deeply human struggles that came with growing up in the spotlight, including the challenge of maintaining privacy, dealing with media narratives that sometimes distorted events, and coping with the emotional toll of being constantly evaluated by the public. And over time these pressures shape her into a more private and reflective person, especially as she matured into later stages of her career where her work began to reflect themes of healing, love, motherhood, and resilience rather than just fame and performance energy, showing a shift from external validation to internal peace, while still maintaining her place as a respected figure in music. And despite occasional setbacks or controversies that were widely discussed in the media, she consistently demonstrated an ability to move forward without allowing those moments to define her entire identity, instead choosing to focus on growth and creative expression. And her influence continues to be felt strongly in today's music industry, where many modern pop and R&B artists cite her as a major inspiration for both sound and stage presence, proving that her legacy extends far beyond any single moment in time. And even as she reaches 59, her story is not one of an ending but of ongoing evolution, where experience has added depth to her artistry and perspective. And while public narratives sometimes exaggerate the idea of tragedy in her life, the more accurate reflection is one of endurance, transformation, and quiet strength built over decades of navigating fame, family legacy, and personal identity in an industry that rarely allows space for privacy or stillness, making her journey not simply heartbreaking as headlines might suggest, but instead a powerful example of how an artist can survive, adapt, and continue to create meaning across an entire lifetime in the spotlight.